France, the land of love, croissants and cobblestone streets. Or is it? Here's a shocker. Paris has been nicknamed the City of Rats, and not just because of the famous ratatouille. In some parts of the city, there are 5 rats for every human. Ah, Paris, the City of Lights, a place where dreams come true and romance is in the air. The Eiffel Tower shimmering against the evening sky, casting a magical glow over the city, the gentle strains of an accordion drifting from a nearby cafe, filling the air with melodies that seem to capture the essence of Paris, all completely ruined by the fact that you might be inhaling the equivalent of a pack of cigarettes just by standing there. Yes, the air quality is that bad. Yes, my friends, turns out the air quality in the City of Love is about as romantic as a smog-filled honeymoon suite. The picturesque views are often shrouded in a thick layer of pollution. On some days, the pollution levels are so high that breathing the air is like sucking on an exhaust pipe, which, let's be honest, is not the kind of French kiss anyone dreams of. The health implications are severe, affecting both locals and tourists alike. So what's the culprit behind this atmospheric assault? Well, it's a delightful cocktail of car exhaust, industrial emissions, and urban congestion. And let's not forget our old friend climate change, just fanning the flames of this environmental dumpster fire. Rising temperatures and stagnant air only make the situation worse. Now, the French government has taken some steps to address this issue, like implementing car-free days to reduce traffic congestion and investing in public transportation to encourage people to leave their cars at home. But let's be honest, it's a bit like putting a band-aid on a gaping chest wound. These measures, while helpful, are not enough to tackle the root of the problem. The problem is so deeply ingrained that it's going to take a monumental effort to clean up this mess. It requires a comprehensive approach involving stricter regulations, innovative solutions, and public awareness. So, the next time you see a picture of the Eiffel Tower bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun, just remember, that's not just sunlight, folks. That's a thick layer of smog adding its own special filter to the scenery. It's a reminder of the environmental challenges we face. And if you're planning a trip to Paris anytime soon, well, you might want to pack a gas mask along with your beret and your phrase book. It's better to be safe than sorry in the City of Lights. Now let's talk about food, shall we? Food is not just sustenance, it's an experience, a journey through flavors and cultures. Because when it comes to culinary delights, France is practically synonymous with fine dining. From the bustling bistros to the elegant Michelin-starred restaurants, French cuisine is revered worldwide. But hold on to your baguettes, folks, because in 2013, the French food industry served up a scandal that was anything but délicieux. It was a revelation that shook the very foundation of trust in food labeling. It all started with some suspiciously cheap frozen lasagna. These were the kind of meals that promised convenience and affordability, but at what cost? I mean, we've all been there, right? Scouring the frozen food aisle for a bargain, but sometimes a deal is too good to be true. You think you're getting a steal, but you might be getting more than you bargained for. And in this case, it wasn't just a matter of skimping on the mozzarella. The issue ran much deeper, affecting the very core of what we consider safe and acceptable to eat. No, my friends, this lasagna had a secret ingredient that would make even the most adventurous eater lose their appetite: horse meat. Yes, you heard that right, horse meat. That's right, instead of beef, some cunning, or perhaps just desperate individuals decided to spice things up with a little bit of Black Beauty. This was not just a minor slip-up, it was a deliberate act of deception. And it wasn't just a few isolated cases, oh no. This was a full-blown Europe-wide scandal with millions of products pulled from supermarket shelves. The scale of the recall was unprecedented, affecting numerous brands and retailers. The scandal rocked the food industry, exposed the dark underbelly of the meat trade, and left consumers wondering what the hell they were actually putting into their bodies. It raised serious questions about food safety and regulatory oversight. The French government, already reeling from the embarrassment of its polluted air, now had to deal with a full-blown food fraud crisis. Officials scrambled to restore public confidence and implement stricter regulations. Heads rolled, companies went bankrupt, and the French people were left with a lingering distrust of anything that even remotely resembled ground meat. The scandal had long-lasting repercussions, changing the way people shopped and thought about food. Now let's talk about those charming cobblestone streets of Paris, shall we? The ones you've seen in countless films and postcards, where lovers stroll hand in hand, soaking up the romantic atmosphere. Well, here's a little secret those images don't quite capture. Sometimes those cobblestones are buried under a mountain of garbage. That's right, folks. While Paris might be known for its fashion, its food, and its je ne sais quoi, it's also famous for something far less glamorous: strikes. And when the garbage collectors go on strike, well, let's just say the city's waste management system goes from ooh la la to oh hell no faster than you can say sacre bleu. Imagine, if you will, strolling along the Seine, the Eiffel Tower twinkling in the distance, only to be met with the pungent aroma of rotting garbage. Not exactly the romantic ambiance you were hoping for, is it? But that's the reality of Paris during a garbage strike. The streets overflow with trash, rats throw their own little street parties, and the city's famed beauty is buried under a layer of refuse. Chapter 4. Wine. Not because it might be fake. Now let's raise a glass to France, a country practically synonymous with wine. From the picturesque vineyards to the bustling cafes, wine is an integral part of French culture and identity. From the rolling hills of Bordeaux, where some of the world's finest red wines are crafted with meticulous care and tradition, to the sun-drenched vineyards of Burgundy, known for its exquisite Pinot Noir and Chardonnays, France produces some of the most celebrated wines in the world. Each region has its own unique terroir and winemaking techniques that contribute to the diversity and richness of French wines. But hold on to your corkscrews, folks, because the French wine industry has a dirty little secret. Some of those expensive bottles you've been savoring might be as fake as a plastic Eiffel Tower keychain. Yes, even in the world of fine wine, deception lurks. That's right, my friends, we're talking about counterfeit wine, a multi-billion-dollar industry that's been duping unsuspecting consumers for years. These fake wines are often sold at premium prices, making the deception even more painful for wine enthusiasts. And when it comes to fake wine, France, with its prestigious reputation and hefty price tags, is the main target. The allure of French wine makes it a prime candidate for counterfeiters looking to make a quick profit. Imagine, you've finally saved up enough to splurge on that bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild you've been eyeing. It's a dream come true for any wine lover. You carefully uncork it, pour yourself a glass, and take a sip, expecting to be transported to a world of complex aromas and velvety tannins. The anticipation is palpable. Instead, you're met with the harsh reality of a cheap, poorly made concoction that tastes like it was bottled in someone's bathtub. The disappointment is crushing. These cunning counterfeiters have gotten so good at their craft that they can replicate everything from the labels to the corks, making it nearly impossible for the average consumer to tell the difference between a real bottle and a fake. The level of detail in these forgeries is astonishing. The problem has gotten so bad that even experts have been fooled, with millions of bottles of counterfeit wine making their way onto the market each year. This widespread issue has led to increased scrutiny and efforts to combat wine fraud, but the battle is far from over. Chapter 5. Pension Problems, Parisian Protests. Now let's talk about those charming French protests, shall we? Because when it comes to expressing their discontent, the French take to the streets with a certain je ne sais quoi that's both impressive and slightly terrifying. And in 2023 they took their protest game to a whole new level with the pension reform demonstrations. Imagine, if you will, the streets of Paris transformed into a battleground with tear gas filling the air, cobblestones being ripped up and used as projectiles, and the sweet scent of revolution and possibly burning garbage wafting through the air. It was a scene straight out of Les Miserables, only with fewer catchy songs and a lot more riot police. The government's proposed changes to the pension system were about as popular as a stale baguette, and the French people, never ones to shy away from a good confrontation, decided to make their voices heard. The protests dragged on for weeks, bringing the country to a standstill. Tourists were stranded, businesses were forced to close, and the Eiffel Tower, that beacon of French pride, probably considered taking early retirement just to escape the chaos. So, if you're planning a trip to France, do yourself a favor and check the protest schedule. Chapter 6. Ratatouille, in real life, it's not so cute. And now for the grand finale, the pièce de résistance of France's dirty little secrets, the rats. Oh yes, those furry little creatures that haunt our nightmares and spread diseases faster than gossip in a small town. Well, in Paris, they're not just a problem, they're practically a tourist attraction. Forget the Eiffel Tower, forget the Louvre, forget Disneyland Paris, the hottest ticket in town is a front row seat to the nightly rat parade. That's right, folks. Every evening, as the sun sets and the streetlights flicker to life, the rats of Paris emerge from their subterranean lairs to feast on the city's endless buffet of discarded baguettes, cheese rinds, and tourist tears. They scurry through the streets, they frolic in the parks, they even take a dip in the Seine because why not? It's not like the water could get any dirtier. Now I know what you're thinking. John, every city has rats, it's not a big deal. And you'd be right to a certain extent. But the rats in Paris are different. They're bigger, they're bolder, and they're not afraid to make eye contact. They're like the Don Corleones of the rodent world, ruling the city with an iron paw. Chapter 7. Au revoir, Illusion of Perfection. So, there you have it, folks, the shocking, the scandalous, the downright disgusting truth about France. From its polluted air to its fake wine to its rat-infested streets, France is a country that's full of surprises, not all of them pleasant. Comment, like, and subscribe for more videos like this.